peoples of IRC and elsewhere. This is undefeated Twilight, again with terrible lighting in the background and terrible lag on my video. I know, I'm sorry. The camera app I use is terrible, it's awful. I need to use other words other than terrible. But as long as you can see, it's fine. It's not really much in the ways of visuals anyway, when I'm just reading from a book. So here we go. Chapter 24, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The air car coasted through the cold darkness, a single soft glow of light that was utterly alone in the deep Microthean night. It sped swiftly. Arthur's companion seemed sunk in his own thoughts, and when Arthur tried on a couple of occasions to engage him in conversation again, he would simply reply by asking if he was comfortable enough, and then that. He tried to keep the speed at which he was travelling. Blackness outside was absolute, and he was denied any reference points. The sense of motion was so soft and slight, he could almost believe they were hardly moving at all. A tiny glow of light appeared in the far distance, and within seconds had grown so much in size, Arthur realized it was travelling towards them at a colossal speed. He tried to make out what the craft was. He peered at it, but was unable to discern a clear shape, and suddenly gasped in alarm as the air dipped sharply and headed downward in what seemed certain to. The relative velocity seemed unbelievable, and Arthur had hard to draw back before he was aware of was an insane silver blur that seemed to surround him. He twisted his head sharply round and saw a small black point swing rapidly in the distance behind them, and it took him several seconds to figure out what happened. They had plunged into a tunnel in the ground. The colossal speed had been their own relative to glow of light, which was a stationary hole in the ground, the mouth of the tunnel. The blur still circled the wall of the tunnel down which they were shooting, apparently at several hundred miles an hour. He closed his eyes in terror. After a length of time which he made no attempt to judge, the slight subsidence in their speed, and some later became aware they were gradually gliding to an end. He opened his eyes again. They were still in the silver tunnel, threading and weaving their way through what appeared to be a crystal warren of converging tunnels. When they finally stopped, it was in a small chamber of curved steel. Terminus, and at the other end of the chamber, Arthur could see a large circle of dim, irritating light. It was irritating because it played tricks with the eyes. It was to tell how far it was. Arthur was quite wrong that it Arthur turned and regarded Arthur with his solemn old eyes. "Earthman," he said, "we are now deep in the heart of Microthea." "How did you know I was an Earthman?" demanded Arthur. "These things will become clear to you," said the old man gently. At least, he added with slight doubt in his voice, "clearer than they are at the moment." He continued, "I should warn you that the chamber we are about to pass into does not literally exist within our planet. It is a little too large. We are about to pass through a gateway into a vast tract of hyperspace. It may disturb you." Arthur made nervous noises. Bartfast touched a button and added, not entirely reassuringly, "It scares the willies out of me. Hold tight." The car shot forward straight into the circle of light, and suddenly Arthur had a fairly clear idea of what infinity looked like. It wasn't infinity, in fact. Infinity itself looks and uninteresting. Looking up into the night sky is looking into infinity. Distance is incomprehensible and therefore meaningless. The chamber in which the air car emerged was anything but infinite. It was just very, very, very big. So big that it gave the impression of infinity far better than infinity itself. Arthur's senses bobbed and spun. Travelling at the immense speed he knew the air car attained, they climbed slowly through the open air, leaving the gateway through which they had passed an invisible pinprick in the shimmering wall behind them. The wall. The wall defied the imagination, seduced it and defeated it. The wall was so paralyzingly vast that its bottom and sides passed away beyond the light, the mere shock of a could kill a man. The wall appeared perfectly flat. It would take the finest laser measuring equipment to detect that as it climbed, apparently to infinity, as it dropped dimly away, as it planed out at either side, it also curved. It met itself again 13 light years away. In other words, the wall formed the inside of a hollow sphere, a sphere over 3 million miles across and flooded with unimaginable light. "Well," said Slarty Bartfast as the tiny speck that was the air car, travelling now at 3 times the speed of sound, crept imperceptibly forward into the mind-boggling space. "Welcome," he said. Floor. Arthur stared about him in a kind of wandering horror. Ranged away before instances he could neither judge nor even guess at were a series of suspensions, traceries of light hung about shadowy spherical shapes that hung in the space. This, said Slarty Bartfast, is where we make most of our planets, you see. You mean, said Arthur, trying to form the words, you mean you're starting it all up again now? Oh, good heavens, no, exclaimed the old man. Lexi isn't nearly enough to support us yet. No, we can do one extraordinary commission for very special clients from another dimension. It may interest you. There, it's in front of us. Sorry. Arthur followed the old man's fingers till he was able to pick out the floating structure he was. It was indeed only one of the many structures that betrayed any sign of activity about it. This was minimal than anything one could. At that moment, a flash of light arced through the structure and revealed in stark relief the patterns that were formed on the dark sphere within. Patterns that Arthur knew, rough blobby shapes that were familiar to him as the shapes of words, part of the furniture of his mind. For a few seconds he sat in stunned silence as the images rushed around his mind and tried to find somewhere to settle down and make sense. Part of his brain told him that he knew perfectly well what he was looking at and what the shape represented, whilst another quite sensibly refused and abdicated responsibility for any further thinking in that direction. The flash came again, and this time there could be no doubt. The Earth, whispered Arthur. Well, the Earth Mark II, in fact, said Slarty Bartfast cheerfully. We're making a copy from our blueprints. There was a pause. Are you trying to slowly and with control that you originally made the Earth? Oh yes, said Slarty Bartfast. Did you ever go to a place was called Norway? No, said Arthur. No, I didn't. Ah, pity, said Slarty Bartfast. That was one of the awards, you know. Lovely crinkles. You were upset. Yes, 5 minutes later it wouldn't have mattered so much. It was quite shocking a cock-up. Huh? Said Arthur. The mice were furious. The mice were furious? Oh yes, man mildly. Yes, well, so I expect with cats and not platypuses. Ah, but they hadn't. Said Arthur. It would save you of time. Just gave up and went now. I flew on in awkward silence. Then the old man tried patiently to explain. Earthman, the planet you lived on was commissioned, paid for, and run by mice. Destroyed 5 minutes before completion of the purpose it was built. We've got to build another one. Only one word was registering with Arthur. Mice? He said. Indeed, Earthman. Look, sorry, a little furry thing, the cheese fixing and women standing on the table screaming in early 60s sitcoms. Bartfast coughed lightly. Earthman said, it's hard to follow your mode of speech. Remember, I have been asleep inside this planet of Magrathea for 5 million years, and know little of these early 60s sitcoms of which you speak. These creatures you call mice, you see, they are not quite as they are here. They are merely the protrusion into our dimension of vast, high-intelligent panda beings. The whole business of the cheese, the squeaking is just a front. The man put them with a sympathetic frown continued. They've been experimenting on you, I'm afraid. Arthur thought about it for a second, and then his face cleared. Ah, no, he said, I see the source of the misunderstanding now. No, look, you see, what happened was that we used to do experiments. They were often used in behavioural research, Pavlov, that sort of stuff. So what happened was that the would be set all sorts of tests, learning to ring bells, run around mazes, and so that the nature of learning could be examined. From observations of their behaviour, we were able to all sorts of things about our own. Off. Such subtlety, said Slarty Bartfast. One has to admire it. What? Said Arthur. How better to disguise their real natures, and how better to guide your thinking. Suddenly running down the maze the wrong way, eating the wrong bit of cheese, unexpectedly dropping dead of myxomatosis. If it's finely calculated, the cumulative effect is enormous. He paused to reflect. You see, Earthman, we really are particularly clever, hyper-intelligent pan-dimensional beings. Your planets and people form the matrix of an organic computer running a 10 million year research program. Let me tell you the whole story. It'll take a little time. Time, said Arthur, is not currently one of my problems. So, what purpose was the aid? Well, you probably already know the story, but if not, you'll have to wait till now. So, thank you for listening, or watching, or whatever you did. This one was a bit longer, so I hope it was satisfying for you. Anyway, take care, love and peace.